Sometimes I just stop and think, really think about life. Not the surface level, what am I eating today or what's trending on my phone, but the actual fabric of existence. Most people don't. And I don't mean that as an insult, it's just the truth. For a lot of people, life is about the cycle. Wake up, scroll, eat, stress about the same things, and repeat. Their minds are tied to simple, everyday concerns: what to wear, what to post, what others think of them, and what plans are happening this weekend. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's normal. But when you step outside of the cycle, when your mind starts pulling back the curtain on life, people, society, you realize something heavy. You can't unsee it. That's where my question comes in. Is knowledge a blessing or is it a curse? And before I go further, I need to clear something up. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I know there are people out there far more intelligent than I can even comprehend, far more educated, far more qualified to speak on this. I'm not claiming to be on top of the mountain, but I do know this. The way I see and the way I process life, the way I connect dots that others ignore, it isolates me. There's a line that's always stuck with me ever since I saw it. Lonely is the mind that sees too far, because knowledge, when you carry it deep, is heavy. See, knowledge changes the way you move throughout the world. You stop seeing things the way they're presented and you start seeing them for what they really are underneath. A smile isn't just a smile, it's hiding something. A routine isn't just a routine, it's a cage. The world itself, from the smallest social interaction to the biggest historical event, it all starts to feel like patterns repeating, masks over masks, and the curse in that is simple. Once you know, you can't unknow. It's like living with a cognito hazard in your mind. For anyone who doesn't know, a cognito hazard is basically a thought or a piece of information that changes you once you're exposed to it. You can't erase it. You can't go back to ignorance. It alters how you think, how you see, and even how you live. That's what deep knowledge feels like. A series of cognito hazards embedded in your brain, and you learn truths about people. How much of what they do is driven not by logic, but by insecurity, fear, or ego. You learn truths about society, how much of it runs on illusion, on distraction, on keeping people too busy to question anything. And you learn truths about yourself. The fragility of your body, the shortness of your time, the emptiness that sits behind most of what you chase. And once those thoughts live in you, you don't just think about them sometimes. They bleed into everything. Eating, walking, meeting someone new, scrolling online. The awareness is always humming in the background. And that's where the loneliness comes in. Because while other people can laugh, stress, and move on, you're so stuck analyzing. You're so aware. You can be in a room full of people surrounded by noise and energy and distractions and feel completely disconnected. And I can relate to that a lot. You just sit there and you stare at something and you feel your emotions switch off. You feel disconnected and you just feel like you're in the different realm. You don't feel any emotions. You don't feel happy. You don't feel sad, but you just sit there and you think. Why? Because you're not just in the moment. You're dissecting it. You're watching human behavior, seeing patterns and predicting outcomes. Even in relationships, it can create distance. When you understand too much about how attraction works, how emotions shift, how fragile connections can be, how fast people with amazing and big bonds can just go into a phase that turns them into strangers just like this. It makes it harder to just be, to just enjoy without thinking about what's under the surface. Sometimes I wish I could switch it off, to just wake up and check my phone, laugh at a meme, worry about something simple, and move on like everyone else. But once you've stepped outside the loop, once you've tasted real knowledge, you can't climb back in. But here's the flip side. Because with all this weight, knowledge still gives me something I would never trade. Clarity. The ability to see past illusions, to not be manipulated as easily, to understand people on a level that most don't. Knowledge sharpens you, it protects you. It allows you to walk into a room and read the energy, to see the truth behind words, to predict consequences before they even hit. Knowledge forces you to grow. Even when it's painful, even when it isolates you, it pushes you to become more than just another part of the cycle. And that's where I find the blessing. Because yeah, it hurts sometimes. Yeah, it feels isolating. Yeah, it makes you wish for ignorance, but I'd rather see too much than see nothing. I'd rather carry the weight of awareness than drift through life blind. So which is it? A blessing or a curse? Truth is, it's both. Knowledge is the double-edged sword. It gives you clarity, but it steals your innocence. It opens your eyes, but it closes doors between you and others. It gives you the power to understand, but also the burden of carrying that understanding alone. But in the end, if you ask me whether I'd give it up, whether I'd trade the awareness for a simpler, lighter life, where I'm ignorant and I have everything easy, my answer is no. It'll always be no. Because knowledge, no matter how heavy, is still a blessing. And blessings, no matter how painful, aren't curses. It's just the price of seeing too far.